Yo, assalamu alaikum, my brothers. It's been a long while since I've actually done a actual commentary or just commentated video in general with my own debates, etc. It's been a while because I've been uploading debates of me go Discord, slamming some randoms and etc. But I'm back full gear and I'm trying to just record some shit and try to get some content out there the best I can. And yeah, I've been like just going on while doing some stuff. Like I'm actually been proud of myself because I'm defending Islam. I've been doing my best just to try and I even have an entire server. It's meant for Muslims and Christians. Like it's a library for people who want to learn, etc. It's called the Islamic Dynasty, and yeah, I know there's like quite a bit of stuff like controversy just between them, like, and that's what's gonna lead to like today's commentary. Like, also my bad for stuttering, but that's leading to the commentary which we have today. Here are my top 3 critiques about Christian apologetics. Christian apologetics. What defined as a Christian apologist? A Christian apologist is just a conjunction or a conjunctive relationship between an apologist who defends the religion with someone who debates about religion, and the Christian part is based from or derived from the religious term of Christianity, and that's what makes it just a Christian debater who does defend religion, etc. That's what a Christian apologist is. But what is my internal critique of what they are? So when we analyze this, right, what an internal critique is, what exactly is being brought about on what they are, right? Yeah, so I'm examining the like way path, etc., etc., and I think it's good to note that I'm not gonna be the only one joining in on this video today, and yeah, you'll see why, because like I'm joined soon. And his name is Seamed. He's been blowing. Obviously, he has more subscribers than me. And I'm proud to say he's my brother in the law. I love him so much, bro. And I want to shout out his channel because I want to do a collab with him. And hopefully he joins the VC, bro. Like, I'm recording this in VC, by the way. Like, I don't have no script. So, the script part, I don't really care about because it's just commentary. I think it's pretty good, like myself. Like, not myself, but I mean, like, yo, see my brother, Shamed. Shamed, yo, can you say hi to the audience real quick?
Alright. So,
Yo, so this is Shamed, everybody. I'm doing a collab with him, a video collab. Yes, he is waiting here right now. He is 161. Proud to like shout him out here, and you're gonna be seeing the thumbnail as well because like. To this subject, I think I just wanted to like have you join up on, my brother Sheen.
alright.
We critique about Christian apologetics, our critiques of them, our judgments upon them.
Alright. Fair enough.
So, let me ask, what are your own critiques about Christian apologetics and how they argue against Islam?
Well, their arguments are not really great to start things off, since they mostly misinterpret or define things that the Quran defines it another way. The best example would be the Islamic dilemma, where Christian apologetics define the gospel given to Isa alayhi salam as the 4 gospels written in the Bible. However, this is a clear misinterpretation of such texts, since gospel, even in the Bible, is defined as the message or revelation of Christ, which means that it is distinct from the 4 gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, and as well as making theories up and pretending they are true, such as saying that Allah, Jibreel, and Isa are a trinity, just like how Sam Shamoon said, Astaghfirullah. So, and their way of defending the Trinity isn't really that great since they mostly used the beyond comprehension excuse for accusing God of such illogicality, even though they attack Muslims for believing in Allah having distinct attributes. Well, not really distinct, conceptually distinct, or a secret set. So yeah, this is pretty much it.
So that was actually a really good internal critique about them, and I think it's really good that you point out about the Islamic dilemma. The Islamic dilemma itself is a pretty stupid argumentation because there's just a there's just a synthetic distinction between what's being said because we know the gospel given from Allah to Prophet Isa, may peace be upon him, is the Injil.
Yeah,
The Injil is not going to be the same as the Gospels. See, because
yeah,
the implications within the lexicon do not point towards it being a plural set of things. It's going to be a set. Well, it's not necessarily a set. Well, it is a set, but like it's just a set of one thing with many things, especially within the Injil. It's not necessarily the same thing as multiple things which contain this and that as a full-blown multi-set, which invokes like everything within the set. Like everything within the set is gonna be 1 versus 4 because the 4 mainline gospels, the non-canon gospels are from Paul. Paul used them. But yes, like there's just a conceptual distinction between what they are and a synthetical distinction between what's being asserted and how we understand these two dichotomous things. The dichotomous thing would be that one's plural with a set of books versus one thing which is being revealed. We don't actually have confirmation as to what the Injil is because it's been lost within time, but it's not necessarily something being created from the hands of humans because we know it was created by Allah or stated to be created by Allah. So it's not being the Gospels, especially after it was written after like what people assume to be Jesus' death. So it's going to be the same thing as there's like so many conceptual distinctions between that. Saying that is just gonna like grant some invalid epistemic criteria for that P to be true, and then go to Q, which is being trying to prove from like P. So what we basically have here, there's no pragmatic like application for us to derive some actual like inference which gives us substance. Like no, like, this is not the same thing. No, but
mm,
if to be
right.
true, I genuinely do think like the critique about the Islamic dilemma was definitely the other point. Many people misconcept that. Like there's just many, like so many. And yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
like I think it's pretty stupid how these people like make argumentations and yeah, I definitely do agree with Sheemed here and his like takes upon like the critiques. Like, is there another critique you have? I'd be interested in hearing this and give my own thoughts as well because yeah.
Mm. So it's a pretty good arguments from Akhi Seba. As he said, there must be a distinction from between the gospel given to Jesus Christ, alayhi salam, and the four gospels written by Paul, which was a false apostle by the standards of his own religion, Christianity, since he dismantled the law in virtue of Jesus' sacrifice, even though the Old Testament made it clear that the law is eternal and unchanging, meaning that he is a false apostle by the Mosaic law standards. And yeah,
Honestly, pretty good in my opinion, yeah. Another critique would we have here. And for this one, I think I have to give my own critique actually. Because I
go
think
ahead.
it is absolutely like morally justifiable to say this because I feel like Christian apologetics milk the hell out of Islam just for videos for money.
I
I
totally
like
agree.
I do agree with this because the fact that there's people like testify who changes what the words within the Quran, he's like an insane troll. He's like garbage. There's people like Sam Shimon who like try and say that Allah is like anthropomorphized. Basically, they try and argue he was actual big person, which is kind of Lebanese law, which is not the case at all. But to be like that, I just think that most of these things, like several things, like I don't know, like I feel like they just purposely make things just for people to believe so they can have the goons ready up. Like my personal critique is just that they keep making the hell or just milking the hell out of it just for the content in the video. Because like, how are you gonna give false information just for the sake of creating a video? Because keep in mind, this it's like a trend to hate on Islam within Christianity. I don't know why. I'm not saying all Christians do this, but there's certainly a set which like to do that. So you're walking all in that set. There's no actual like hate towards Christianity, bro. We love you because you're our Christian brothers, but at the same time, you have to realize that there's certain Christians which like to try and hate on Islam, and we stand up to defend Islam. We don't let Islam go down like that. So that's one of my personal critiques right there about that. I don't necessarily think it's any good. And to be fair, I think we should just have actual societable and civilized debates where we can just discuss about that without us trying to milk and talk shit about religions. It's just so absolutely bad and toxic to do. Like, you preach about love, you preach about the love of Christ, you try and mimic and teach him like a prophet. Yet you go back on that. Like, say for example, Sam Shimon. He literally made fun of us. Like, it's one of the videos, he said, Allah is great. I'm glad you're saying this. But at the same time, you having the intention to mock us is not going to help us like you in any way. How about you start straighten up your attitude about things, and then maybe we can respect you as an apologist and don't consider you as a fool.
Yeah, this I totally agree. It stands on the morality of Christian apologetics, even from my standpoint, since they preach about a religion that was supposed to be about love, mercy, and salvation, even though they mock other religions all the time, such as Sam Shamoon calling Allah Satan and stuff like that, or calling Muslims stone kissers, which is the complete opposite of acceptance and love, which leads to hypocrisy. Even within their own religion, it will make them, it will it will dismantle their salvation. Since Jesus made it clear that the Ten Commandments about loving your neighbor or loving others are one of the most important requirements for man's existence, meaning that even if you call Jesus Lord, which he isn't in the day of judgment, he'll just he'll just call you for your hypocrisy and hate towards others, which will lead to eternal punishment, since you don't really recognize the image of Jesus Christ that is in him.
Well, I think that's actually certainly a justifiable stance right there, if I'm going to be honest. And with my message finally ended here, I think Sheen could go on more because the critique I specifically had was mainly targeted at these apologetics just because you milk Islam just for the sake of making money. It's purely disgusting to me the way you want interest. It's just disgusting. Realize your own mistake. Try and find salvation. Okay? Like, I don't want anything bad upon you, but I just want you to get better as a human being. That's my honest opinion about you guys. I don't think you are specifically a worse human being, but you're definitely a bad human being if you're trying to insult someone's actual faith. They hold core as belief. It's just disrespectful within my eyes. And if you want some form of justification as to the reason why you're going to be disrespectful, disrespectful itself just refers to the means of going against somebody with the intent of ill against them. That's the definition which we can use, which best it's the analytical criteria which we're using to form a framework of that. Basically, the reason why it's going to be disrespectful is because you milk against our religion. Our religion respects you, but you just portray us as that, this, and that, and you go against us constantly. If that's going to be the case, that you disrespect us because of these actions, we would consider it that way. You're going against us. So basically, our own moral viewpoint is just going to hold a doxastic attitude, which can be justifiable through an empirical framework of observation and reasoning from what we have of our own belief. Our own belief is preaching us, and we're using that to gain some form of coherent justification for that. So if you want that, yeah, that's definitely going to be some form of disrespect because you're attacking first on us. That's going to be an attacking our religion because we hold that core. You're attacking our core respectful things, which then means that is going to be the case. We're going to put that to cue that this is definitely going to be disrespecting the religion, which is disrespecting us. So basically, since you disrespect our religion, we follow this religion. So basically, P1, we follow this religion. P2, we hold it to the core. P3, it makes up our being as morally or mentally stable, and we hold that as a moral framework of our entire intrinsic stance of life. So the conclusion is that you're insulting our life because we hold Islam as our life. That's going to be disrespectful. So all that just follows. So that's just going to be some form of disrespect. Just, some full-on syllogism for that, like, just entire justification part, just for you to try and refute that. I want to refute that, by the way. Anyone who watches, by the way, I'm going to be holding an open gauntlet. Me and Sheen is going to be holding an open gauntlet in the video. I will be putting Islamic Dynasty up in my bio for you, and Sheen will as well. We are going to hold against all these Christians. If you can actually refute us or debate us properly without losing, we can keep on, and you can take over the Islamic Dynasty. How about that? Or we will admit that we lost this and that you have proved your substance as superior. How about that? So basically, this is our main critiques. And basically, I enjoyed this collaboration. Just like I like to hear my brother.
Yeah, me too, my Ahayusibo.
Love you, bro. This was a wonderful video. Make sure we both post this, by the way, bro. So, like, just so you know,
Alright.
etc. You know, and everybody, assalamu alaikum. Never forget to say alhamdulillah when you wake up because Allah has blessed you to live. Allah has blessed you to live if you live another day.
Alright, barakallahu fikum and assalamu alaikum. Yeah.